everybody, welcome back to another video. I am Jen and I just wanted to sit down and I wanted to talk about the first 10 days of my 75-day challenge, things I've learned, any changes I want to make, and ultimately I'm going to give myself a grade. It's something I want to do every single week. No, I'm not a teacher. And also comment below if you think by, the end of this video that I might have been a little too harsh, or maybe you would have graded me differently. And this isn't a negative. Trust me, you could say whatever you want and I'll be perfectly fine with it. But I'm going to grade myself off of all the different daily rules as part of my challenge. But if you are new to my channel, I have lost upwards about 90 pounds. I started back in March of 2023. So I am on a GLP-1. I started with mounjaro. Now I'm on compounded tirzepatide. And my dose currently is 5 milligrams. If you watched any of my prior videos, you've known that I had to start decreasing due to some increases in unpleasant side effects that I was experiencing. And the moment that I made that change to 5 milligrams, it has been just a game changer. But let's go ahead and get right into it. Weight has not changed. It's not the end of the world. My body fat percentage has also stayed the same. I haven't really seen a lot of changes in all the different metrics that I'm taking with my Hume Health Body Pod. And that's not a bad thing. I think, my body's settling back in after having a successful, weight loss in 7.4 pounds in May. And then some fluctuations for the first two and a half weeks of June, and then getting myself back on track. Like I said, I'm on day 10. But I think the most interesting thing is that I started tracking, this is so bulky, but the first, I want to say 8 days. I wanted to do 7, I ended up doing 8, which by the way, if you're an 80s kid, do you remember the Shark, like the freestyle watches? Well, they now make they could have made them for a while, but they make Apple Watch bands. And I don't know, I just thought this was very festive for the summer. Anyway, so going back to what I was talking about is I started tracking my sleep. And it was something that I wanted to do throughout the course of 75 days because that has been one of those little gray areas. And I know it's not necessarily on a daily rule, but it's one where I think following my daily rules will affect my sleep in a positive way is what I'm hoping. So all of my sleep scores have been phenomenal. The first 7, I think I did 8 days of it. And I couldn't be happier with the progress that I've made with my sleep scores. Now here's an interesting thing though. On the flip side of it, as I've already said, my weight really hasn't changed. Body fat percentage hasn't changed. I haven't put on any muscle, lost any muscle. Visceral fat has stayed the same. All of these key metrics for me that I do want to have a positive impact on have not changed in the first 10 days. But I'm not raising alarms. I'm not going and changing things up like I would have in the past. But what I found interesting is I'm sleeping really well. I'm following these daily rules that I'm going to get into. But my lumen readings, so if you have not heard of the lumen, it's a metabolic, a metabolism tracker. And I've had it for months now and I use it off and on, and I really wanted to use it for these 75 days. And I mainly just do a reading in the morning because I really ultimately, when I found that when my body is just feeling the best and I'm losing weight and, just progressing in the right direction, my readings in the morning are typically 1 or 2, which is, that I'm burning fat. Ultimately, I want to be able to, from the last meal, which is usually dinner the night before, till I get up in the morning, I want my body to switch into fat burning mode. And let me tell you, it has not. It has, and I'll put up what I was before I started this challenge and before I went on vacation when I was in May. 1s and 2s, some 3s here and there, because your body's still adjusting. But I really was getting into a good rhythm and I kind of threw that off a little bit. But I'm having a little bit of a tough time switching back. I had it one day during this past week where I got a 2 when I woke up in the morning, but most of it's been 3s and 4s. So my body is just not switching into that fat burning mode, which is interesting because I have not lost any body fat. My body fat percentage has stayed the same. I haven't really lost much weight. So I think there's a good correlation there where I'm going to keep, track of these things, but not in a way that I'm just going to disrupt everything that I'm doing. But I think if I had to take a step back, and I'm going to go with my first daily rule, which is, healthy eating in a calorie deficit, I felt like I ate really, really well this week, but I think my portions, even though my foods were extremely healthy, whole foods, I found my portions to be a little bit bigger than I normally have. And that was, I know I do best when I keep my carbs, and I want to be careful here because I love having my protein and some fats, and then carbs usually in the form of like vegetables at dinner. But sometimes, depending on how I'm feeling, I'll have like a sweet potato or baby potatoes or a couple little, starchy type of vegetables. And so I noticed that I was making some sweet potato fries, and the portions, I remember the first night sitting down and I was hungry. I was ravished from just that day. And I was like, oh, I'm getting stuffed, but ate my whole dinner. Then the next night, it was pretty much a mirror. I was having some more sweet potato fries because I made a bunch in my air fryer and I was just reheating them. And I was like, I think my portion's a little bit too much. Now I'm not tracking yet. I'm gonna get into that in a second. But I wasn't tracking, but like eyeball looking, I'm like, that's a little too much carbs for dinner for me. And thankfully it didn't disrupt my sleep, but I saw it in my lumen readings. And that's where I'm like, okay, now this week, what I want to do is follow everything that I've done the first 10 days with healthy eating, great meals, but just a little less on the carbs at dinner. And with that, I am going to track. So starting tomorrow, which is the 1st, I can't believe that it's already June 29th. Like, where did June go? But June 30th for that whole week, and I know we're 4th of July week, it's not the end of the world if I don't track that one day on 4th of July, but this whole week I want to just track just to see where I'm at because I think that my calories were going up, which ultimately, you can eat really, really healthy, but unless you're in a calorie deficit, you're not going to see much movement on that scale. So I'm going to really take a closer look at my portions this week, but everything else will kind of stay the same. Then let's get into my next rule, which is daily movement. And I chose the first 10 days to just for 45 minutes a day, I went on a walk, a power walk. Now this morning, I did one with my weighted vest. I think it took me an hour to recover from that walk because one, it was like really humid out, the sun was blaring. And I could really feel it. I mean, I was sweating. It was such an incredible walk. I want to throw my weighted vest in a little bit more. It's a 12-pound one. I didn't go too high. I probably should have started at 10, but I've been using it off and on, and I feel 12 is really comfortable, and there's so many benefits of the weighted vest. But I thought 45 minutes of a walk every single day, and I've been getting out before I log in for the day and going on a nice walk. And it just sets me up for success for the day. And then on top of that, I've been doing this week, I did 3 strength training sessions. And so it was a push, pull, and a leg. And so that way, that's kind of like my secondary side of things where I know I'm checking the box with my 45-minute walk. And then I would at least do 3 days of strength training. I did track all my walks just because there's times where I like to try to beat my time, half mile to then finish the mile. Like there's little fun things I like to do when I'm out on a walk, and I throw in a good podcast or some good music that maybe a new release or something. Or today where I decided to find a nice 80s playlist. I feel like I've said 80s in this video twice now, but anyway, I just wanted to just kind of tune out, put my weighted vest on and everything, but working out wise, once again, on point, and it's never been a major issue of mine, and I'm loving my strength training routine. And then the next portion of it was just, when we talk about getting some steps in, some movement, I have that covered. I was consistently hitting well over 10,000 steps a day. I had my walking pad out here and there just as a way to not necessarily add more steps at this point, but just to make sure that I'm moving a little bit more throughout the day and not stagnant. Hydration. Now, I really had to stay on top of hydration this week. It was a heat wave. It was interesting. I felt more thirsty this week than I have in months past. And so when that happens to me, I always start my day with water with electrolytes. I am loving Element. I got the lemonade salt one. It's now up there. My top 3 is raspberry salt, watermelon salt, and then now lemonade. But I do get the unflavored on occasion because I like to just buy my own like little organic lemon juice or lime juice, and sometimes I just make my own. But Anyway, I felt as if there was a couple times where I was worried that I was drinking too much water on its own, like not my first thing in the morning water and electrolytes. It was later kind of in the afternoon where I felt myself feeling a little bit depleted, like I was thirsty, but I don't want to like have too much water in my system that now it's flushing out, you know, all my medicine or other different things that we all know about, which is why electrolytes are important because, well, first of all, I'm not eating much processed food or foods with a lot of salt. So that makes a big thing where I've got to make sure I'm getting some of my electrolyte, you know, panel in throughout the day. But anyway, there was a couple times where I went and got my Motive Pure, which is my secondary electrolyte. I know that sounds super complicated for electrolytes. It's not. But I would put a little bit in that just because I could control. I know I could use a little bit of the salt, but of the element, but whatever. So I felt when I started adding those things in a little bit later in the day, like another little bit of electrolytes, I really felt well. Now I know there are a lot, like you shouldn't have too many, like I should only have one packet of element a day. There's certain things you have to be careful of if you have too many electrolytes, but that, you know, that's okay. I felt like I was reading my body, the amount I was sweating, or I was at the pool coming back in, taking a shower, and I, you know, already sweat in the morning, 45-minute walk, sweat in the gym, doing a strength training session, sweating, walking my dog earlier in the morning because she can't go out in 100-degree heat. And just, you know, being aware of that, that's why I wanted to make sure I was upping my electrolytes. And the last part of the daily rules is prioritizing self-care. And not only this week did I get into a good routine with AM and PM of my skincare, and I know I only chose skincare as my prioritizing self-care, but there's little things that I do. And I got back into using, I love a brand called InnerSense Organics. I'm somebody that will tell you the products I use and why I use them, but I'm not going to tell you you must get this product because guess what? One, we all have different skin. We all have different hair types. But I really started using, and I used it, you know, the past couple summers with them. They have a kit that you can get, and it's like all about hair renewal. And it just, I feel like when I use it, especially in the summer when my hair's up, when I'm sweating or I'm going in the pool, it just brings more life to it. So I got back on a routine of doing that, and that is such a good like way to either wind down or have like little things for yourself that you could do to just kind of break up that like monotony of the day of like getting up, now I'm doing this, now I'm doing that, then I log in and work 8, 9, 10 hours, and then I log off and I do this, and then it's like, you know, you turn into this robot, which is okay to do, but I loved like looking for a couple little things here and there that I can do just to kind of, I know it sounds like doing hair care is like spicing it up, but that's what I was really looking forward to doing. But one of the things I've been thinking about as I move into a new month, so yes, on day 12 and I don't want to complicate this, but on day 12 will be July 1st. And I don't know why I've had such a funny time trying to remember, like I have my check, you know, or not check, my X off the day. And I'm like, okay, today I'm 10 days in and it's June 29th. Whereas typically I start things like on the 1st. So like I would know, okay, today's the 10th, I'm 10 days in, or I'm on this or I'm that, you know, amount in. So starting July 1st, you know, as I talk to you all, I'll obviously know the days, etc. But I want to do like a little mini challenge within July. And I haven't decided on that yet. I have another day, but I want to just take a step back. And as I build this routine for the next 75 days, what are like a couple little additional mini things I could be doing just to, you know, like adding my weighted vest. Like that really burned more calories, got my heart rate increased a little bit, and just kind of changed up my walk for the day. Do I say, okay, you know, for July, I go on at least 2 weighted vest walks, 3, like those, that's what I mean. Like just taking an existing rule and kicking it up a notch. Same thing with, you know, healthy eating in a calorie deficit. With tracking this week, I really want to make sure that I am still prioritizing protein in that daily goal. So with tracking and just staying on top of that, I might come up with a little mini goal within that saying, you know, please make sure that I am hitting. And for me, I have determined with my protein that my ideal body weight, and I'm not there yet, my ideal body weight, I would love to be at 155, but I may never hit that, and that's okay. I'm 5'9", but I am a wider 5'9". I'm built like a swimmer. The shoulders like a linebacker. And so I am a little bit on a bigger, like, I don't want to say big boned because I'm not like that. Like, I don't want to put that out there, but I am a little bit more on a wider frame. So 155 may be a little bit too thin for me. And like I said, I really want to hone in on the body fat percentage, because to go off on a really quick thing, I recently have been hearing more and more, you hear about how BMI is so flawed, right? And so much, though, relies on the BMI scale. I mean, to get qualified to take a GLP-1 for weight loss through your doctor, they use that BMI scale. But that doesn't necessarily, like, if I'm sitting in a slightly higher but normal BMI, like, I'm like, okay, good. I'm in a normal BMI. I'm good. I'm healthy. But yet my body fat percentage is still slightly elevated. I'm hearing more and more about the importance of the body fat and the percentage, and how that, you want to be able to get within a certain range there to have that reduction in, potential things that can happen down the road. And so that's where it's like, what are these little things that I can do? I want to decrease body fat. I want to put on a little bit of muscle, just a little bit more. I want to get toned a little bit better. All the fun parts now of my journey, I feel like that's hard work, obviously, but a lot of the real true grit happened already with getting like 90 pounds off. But I just think it's going to be one where, with that little mini goal of healthy eating and a calorie deficit, is just getting back to making sure, sorry, my nose got itchy, but getting back to like really tracking my protein. After I get through with this week of tracking, I will probably, for the rest of July, really just make sure I'm hitting, which I said my ideal body weight is 155. I want to try to get in a range of about 140 to 155 grams of protein a day. I like to kind of just get in the 140s, but it would be great if I can get closer into the 150, 155. But I think it's been a very good, I've settled in. I've enjoyed everything along the way. All the habits are in there. All of just the fun of the summer has not gotten in the way of me sticking to my goals. I think having that 45-minute workout a day really gets me to plan out my day better. Same thing with just, the summer, I love, vegetables and fruits. And I love salads. Like tonight I'm making a salad with some steak on it and just really nice, simple, clean meals. But I think right now, 10 days in, I'm still excited. I'm still in that newlywed phase. But I really want to try to kick it up a notch, a smidge for July. And I'll obviously stay tuned for more of just some little mini challenges in the mix. But overall, I want to give myself, for this past week, I want to give myself a grade of a B. I was debating B to B plus because I did hit all of the things that were on my daily rules, but I felt there was moments where I could have done a little bit better. And this isn't me, like, this is fun. Like, for me to give myself a grade is fun. I know. Trust me, it is. I'm being 100% honest here. I think B is a phenomenal score for me. I think there was a couple areas that, even though I was eating healthy, I still had a little bit too much food there. And I didn't necessarily need it. And I did have a couple moments where my stomach just felt really full and bloated because of it. So that's why I didn't want to say B plus or an A. But if I would have just had, I probably would have been an A. But yeah, comment below, after everything I said in this video, what grade would you give me based off of how, this week went? Yeah, I didn't lose weight. Body fat percentage didn't change. So obviously I don't feel like I should be in an A category, because I think those are also key parts there. But the sleep, the fact that my sleep is starting to improve, oh my God, is there like a light at the end of the tunnel? Is it finally happening? We shall see. But I want to thank you all for making it, this far in my recap video. I have a couple little fun videos coming up. One is my 10 essentials, the 10 most important things that I need to have success to lose weight on a GLP-1. And then I just also have another one just of how to think about, weight loss, it a little less of that number on the scale, but why like body fat percentage is important. I have a couple other great fun videos coming up along with, taking you along with me as I'm, going throughout each of the, random days throughout the 75-day challenge, because I love those type of vlog styles right now, watching others, because I get a lot of great ideas of like how to plan out a day, or like Clean and Delicious. Shout out to Danny at Clean and Delicious. It's such a simple thing, but like I was watching like an older video of hers and just how she would organize her refrigerator with like, she would have all the veggies all cut up and prepped, and just made me start to think about how I could make my life easier and organize things a little bit better. And I love watching, videos of just how people structure their day, what they're eating, what they just enjoy doing. It just motivates me because they're motivated. So I want to do a couple more of those little videos as well. But, if you enjoyed today's video, please don't forget to hit the like button. And if you want to check out any of my future videos, you got to hit the subscribe button, turn on the notifications so you don't miss any of them. But I will see you in the next video. Bye.